Can you smell it? Oh, it reminds me of a holiday I was once on in Egypt. Hello and welcome to another edition of Online Theatre School. My name is Lawrence Kavanagh. I'm an acting coach and a drama teacher. Today we're going to be doing something really fun, but it is a little bit messy, so you need to make sure you have permission from whoever cleans your kitchen, or you need to be prepared that you're going to have to clean the kitchen after this task. Okay? Right. So, what are we doing today? You are going to become TV chefs. How is that going to work? Well, some of you may have seen in the past some television programs where this happens. So, for example, on This Morning, they have a section where the chef is cooking whilst also presenting. There's other television programs that do this. Paul Hollywood in Bake Off. You may have seen James Martin. You may have seen Ollie Smith. You may have seen Oz Clarke. There's a multitude of different TV sort of chef and hosts at the same time. So, there's lots of different layers to this task, so I need you to focus because there's going to be in 3 stages. Stage 1, ingredients. You need to get yourself a bowl and you need to get 5 to 10 items of food. Preferably should be out of date so you're not wasting, but it could be anything ranging from old fruit, old meat, rice, old vegetables, anything you can get your hands on just to give a sense of realism to the task. Okay. You should now have your bowl and your items of food ready, or at least mentally made a note of what it is that you need. Part 2. You are going to create a dish that doesn't exist. You're going to create your own food, your own meal. And it can be funny if you want. You can give it a name, a title, whatever it is you will choose to do. Whilst you're putting these ingredients into the bowl, you're going to also be presenting to the audience, to the screen, what it is that you're doing. So you're talking people through what you're doing.
There you go, sprinkle that in, a little bit of style going in there.
Now this is really, really important skill. As an actor, often you might be working with props while still acting. Or you might be having to talk to one character while somebody else in the background is doing something else. So what we're doing here is we're learning how to multitask whilst performing. You might have your eggs and you might have some old fruit and you might mix them together and you might start to discuss what you're doing. So you might say, and now I'm going to add the eggs in. It gives it a real taste of flavour, of pleasure. Don't forget, because we're on television and because we're presenting something, we need to make sure the audience feels that they are involved, engaged, so their mouth is salivating. They want to eat what you're cooking. They want to go out and buy the ingredients that you've got.
A little bit of smell. Associate yourself with it. Okay.
Lovely.
Oh, yeah. There you go. And again, a quarter teaspoon of each.
All right.
That's it. That's quite pungent, actually. It doesn't smell particularly pungent, but believe me, when you taste it, you'll know.
So if you watch the online theatre school lesson on presenting, those skills will really come in handy today. You're going to talk us through your ingredients. Oh, I'm going to add some spice in here, and now I'm going to add this. This really is a beautiful dish. I want you to talk about the history of the dish. This was used in the early 1900s as a way of curing people who had chicken pox. You know, really be inventive and creative as you're cooking. You've got 2 things already. 1, you've got these ingredients in front of you. 2, you're going to start creating this dish. And whilst you're creating it, you're talking it through the ingredients you're adding, what the ingredients are, why you're adding them, what it smells like, what it tastes like, talking us through. You're bringing us along for the ride. We're really buying into this meal that you're cooking, this crazy meal that you're making.
And like a sausage. And one of the reasons we're doing this is that we can divide it equally. We want to make about 4, or whatever you fancy, but I think 4 nice meaty kebabs would be good.
The third part of the task, you need another person. The other person needs to interview you. So they need to ask you questions that are not related to the food that you're cooking. So the first part of the task is you're cooking and you're talking us through. Then a presenter turns up and starts to ask you questions about your life. Or it doesn't have to be real life, by the way. It can be a character you're playing. So maybe you're saying, oh, I was born in Germany in 1925. It doesn't matter, yeah? So you're cooking and someone's interviewing you. Now, this is a layered task. If you haven't got another person with you, what I want you to do is whilst you're cooking, rather than talking about the ingredients, I want you to talk about a subject that is not related to the meal you're cooking and only occasionally reference the meal. So what's happening here is there's lots going on. You've got the camera, so you've got to maintain eye contact. You're cooking and you're talking through the cooking, but you're also now talking about a subject that is unrelated. So it could be talking about sports, it could be talking about art, it could be talking about drama, it could be talking about school, it could be talking about work, it could be talking about anything other than what you're actually doing. But you have to carry on adding ingredients. Number 1, you need a bowl that has lots of ingredients ready to go into it. Number 2, you're going to present as if you're cooking a meal that you've created, and you're going to talk us through the ingredients, the process, what people need to do to make this meal, and the history behind the meal, and really get into it and sell this meal that you're doing. Number 3, you have somebody else join you and they interview you about a subject that is not related to food. So they might talk to you about your favorite sports or about your favorite film or about your family or anything. They talk to you about something that's not related to the food, but you still have to carry on cooking. If you haven't got somebody with you, then what you need to do is you need to carry on cooking, carry on adding your ingredients, but instead you speak about something else whilst you're doing that. Again, related to a hobby or an interest. That's a lot to take on, but it should be really, really fun to watch these back. Now, I want you to add a bit of humor to them and a bit of character. You don't have to just say, now I'm putting an egg. Now I'm putting a veg. I'm cooking a nice meal called the la la la. Yeah? No. You can make it an interesting character. You can be really into it. Now I'm putting the egg, and as you can see, the egg fluffy and beautiful. Can you smell it? Oh, it reminds me of a holiday I was once on in Egypt. Yeah. So really think about how you can add a character to your presenting style. Because when you watch TV chefs, I mean, they're not as strange as that, but when you watch TV chefs, they're engaging. They have personality as well.
Sometimes you can go out, you can buy the heavy ones that you think, oh, we rest. This one is nice and...
They're not just cooking on the screen. They're actually also keeping you engaged by the way they speak, the way they act. Okay, you're ready to go. You're going to set up your camera and then you're going to create your very own television food show whilst cooking. It's going to be brilliant, okay? Make sure you upload it using the hashtag #OnlineTheatreSchool. Please do subscribe. The Online Theatre School has lots of lessons coming your way, as well as interviews with people from film, theatre and television. See you soon.